So Neuralink has now had some successful human trials. Man and machine are truly merging at the most intimate level inside our brain, inside our mind. These individuals can now operate their computer, their mouse, their keyboard. They can play video games completely using their mind. Now, we've had some of these technologies for some time. Things like cochlear implants, which allow the deaf to hear. But what's interesting about these cochlear implants is they're not hearing aids. They're not amplifying the sound so that it's louder and easier to hear. They're talking to the brain cells. They're wired indirectly. And this is what the Neuralink is. They called it neural lace early on. And the actual wire that goes into your brain is about 1/10 the width of a human hair. And ironically, it's a robot that installs it into your brain because the surgery is just too delicate. Now, there's a lot of people really excited about getting one of these things. Having the internet in your head. Being able to Google things. Or now, access something like ChatGPT with just the thoughts. Essentially, at the blink of an eye, you're going to have all of the world's knowledge available to you to output as speech, to consider as a thought pattern, or to increase your behavioral output capabilities. What does this mean? Are humans and AI going to merge in ways that don't really make sense to us right now? Is a large percentage of the planet going to become cybernetic beings? Well, when we think about people getting caught on the internet in endless TikTok scrolls, going through social media over and over, and so on, what does that mean when it's wired in your head? I was lucky enough to be on the early version of the internet, the early form of dial-up, CompuServe. And I remember thinking, I distinctly remember having this idea that, oh, they're going to put commercials on this thing. Well, when you get it plugged into your brain, is it going to show you commercials? Will it tell you that it's a commercial? How will you know where your thoughts come from? There's sort of a paradox that somebody goes and gets a Neuralink, one of your friends or family gets it installed, and they come back and they say, it's the best thing ever. Is it? Or did it tell them to say that? How will we know? Are you willing to get one? What would you use it for? Imagine being able to hit every key on your keyboard all at once. How fast could you type? Imagine being able to play every note on your piano, your synthesizer, your mix board, all at once. To be able to paint images at the pixel level, like we see now with things like Stable Diffusion. But the image comes from your mind. You could have a video stream of your thoughts. You could watch your dreams. You could control your dreams. Does that seem like a dream, or does that seem like a nightmare? I don't think we know yet. It might end up being some weird, twisted mixture of both. we might see a divide in humanity. Half of us might go and say, this Amish lifestyle seems pretty nice. And the other half will say, sign me up. I want the Neuralink as soon as I can get one. Some people have argued that it'll make you a lot of money. That it would be economically worth it to take out a loan to go get a Neuralink because your ability to generate economic value would far outweigh any of the costs it would take to get one. But does the AI need us? Does it need to be plugged into a brain? Only a few decades ago, we did not have intelligent machines, and people thought that the only way to get them to where they are now would be to reverse engineer or integrate with the human brain. But now we have a case example that that's not necessary. The transformer architectures that power large language models like ChatGPT don't really rely on brain-like architecture. They were inspired by the mathematics of it, going back to McCulloch and Pitts in the 40s. The basic perceptrons of Rosenblatt in the 50s and 60s. The neocognitron from the 1980s. These inspired these systems, but they don't need it anymore. It's like jet engines versus feathers. Now, feathers are still pretty interesting. Birds eat a few earthworms. They easily make copies of themselves if you just give them some twigs and some string to make a nest. They'll make copies of themselves quite easily. Jet engines can't do that. But feathers can't carry you across the country in 4 hours while you browse the internet and eat airline breast chicken. So what does the future of technology look like? Does it look like it's going to go and get more biomimicry, inspiration? Is it going to be modeled after natural systems? Or are we in this escape velocity where we have jet engines and turbines and it's just going to go faster and faster and it doesn't need our brain anymore? I think these are the big questions. And maybe people with Neuralink will help us answer those. Maybe the Amish will help us answer those. Leave your thoughts below. Want to know what you think.